It's time for Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
And the moral to the story is... This is Wretched Radio. Kevin DeYoung starting a bit of a firestorm. You wouldn't think it would be a big whoop-de-doo, but apparently, if you even suggest in a nice Presbyterian kind of way that maybe a Christian shouldn't be watching the Game of Thrones? Throne of the Games. What's Game of Thrones. I'm a big fan of the program, as you can tell. Kevin DeYoung, right? Writing a little bit perplexed why so many Christians would actually watch Game of Thrones. It is a TV show that is not fit for Christian eyes. And that is what got Kevin DeYoung in hot. No, I don't need to watch it. I've seen the previews on other networks. It's like, okay, I got it. I got the point. I don't need to watch the show. I don't need to see every single episode to make a judgment call about it. That's an argumentative ruse. I get the gist. It's intriguing. It is, I'm sure, well produced. Undoubtedly, it has a lot of beautiful people in it. And undoubtedly, it has a lot of sinning going on. And what does the Christian have to do watching something that is battery acid for the soul? It seems to me it is only in the West where we are so able to justify the things that we consume without being all that critical. And then along comes Kevin DeYoung, a pastor, to state, hey, church, should we really be watching this? Rawr! And then watch the pastor get excoriated. How dare you? Have you watched every episode, the Joey argument? Well, no, it's good history. You can overlook some of that stuff. Hey, we're adults, which kind of reminds me, this is kind of a trite story, but this is the same logic. There's a church in Los Angeles. I don't believe it's all that big of a church. They played a rapper album. The Jay-Z, I believe, is the rapper fellow. For the, Jay-Z? He's a rapper guy, right? Secular fellow?
Jay-Z.
Is he the one, though, who claims to be a Christian? The Jay-Z fellow?
I don't think so.
No, he doesn't. All right.
Kanye has claimed in the past to be a Christian.
I'm confusing my Kanye and my Jay-Z.
Kanye's married to Kim Kardashian. Jay-Z is married to Beyonce.
Happens all the time, don't you know? So they played a song that is filled with just yuck. And the supposed pastor who decided, yes, this is a song that we need to play, while the girls apparently danced around. I have no idea. I didn't watch that video either. They were dancing around to the Jay-Z song that has vulgarities in it. It uses the N-word like 20 times in the one verse that I read in the article that reported on this. And the so-called pastor justified it by saying, come on, we all know these words. So what's the problem? Well, let me just think of a few. Number one, just because we know I know what murder is. I don't commit it. Okay? I know what rape is. I don't do that. Just because I know it, knowing a dirty word or a vulgar word does not justify being able to use it, certainly not in church. Thank you very much. His other justification was that when he prays, he uses that language with God. God understands these words. He's a big God. He can handle it. You got to be kidding me. That's the justification, and I think that's the justification for things like Game of Thrones. Here happens to be, by the way, I know you were curious, the lyrics. Just found the article from the Christian Post. The fellow, the Reverend Marcus Murchison, Tree of Life Missionary Baptist Church in Los Angeles, California. Unapologetic. This is the argument. The truth is, sometimes when I'm praying, my prayers are not, guide me, O thou great Jehovah, or the 23rd Psalm. Sometimes my prayers have explicit language in them. God, I am bleep, bleep, bleep upset. And because of that, I learned that God can handle that.
Really?
God can handle that. I don't even know what that has to do with anything. The question is, what does the Bible say about language? Furthermore, what should our language be like when we approach the all-consuming fire who is our God? It's just staggering. His small church in Watts has been the center of a viral video storm since playing Jay-Z's The Story of O.J. Now, I do not know what orange juice has to do with a Sunday morning. You should have orange juice perhaps before going to Sunday morning service. Other than that, I don't know what the story of O.J. has to do. If either one of you were remotely hip, I think you'd be correcting me at this point, but apparently...
Nope, we're just going to let you go.
Not so much.
Carry on.
Here are the lyrics that were played in church. And I will have to sanitize this. Light N-word, dark N-word, faux N-word, real N-word, rich N-word, poor N-word, house N-word, field N-word, still N-word, still N-word, light N-word, dark N-word, faux N-word, real N-word, rich, and this sounds like you know what? I've got it figured out.
That scares me.
This is like a worship song because it just repeats the same several words over and over. I apologize to the pastor now. Turns out you were right after all. And then it continues. Financial freedom, my only hope. Remember, this was sung in a church service. Financial freedom, my only hope. Wow. Really bad expletive. Living rich and dying broke. I bought some artwork for $1 million. 2 years later, that bleep worth $2 million. Few years later, that bleep worth $8 million. I can't wait to give this bleep to my children. Y'all think it's bougie, I believe is the word. I'm like, it's fine. Worship service. And people criticizing him, and he's saying, no, you just don't understand. Here's what I understand, and this is my conclusion to the matter regarding Mr. Rapper Fellow and Mr. the supporters of Games of Thrones viewing. And it could just be me. It could just be I need a nap, and I'm a little cranky. But quite honestly, I get it. Everybody can have different levels. I'm tired of contemporary evangelicalism. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of all of this nonsense, of all of this silliness, of all of the lowness, of all of the having to create defenses for, all of the garbage that is so much of evangelical Christianity. Look, I don't want persecution any more than you do, but I got to tell you something. It would clean up a lot of this mess. That it would take care of so much of this garbage because nobody's going to find this type of tripe worth it. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of Christianity Today. I'm tired of most of the garbage that gets printed on Christian Post. The evangelical community, if you're getting upset because a pastor said you shouldn't be watching the Game of Thrones, what are we? This weekend, I was thinking about this because, well, I've got the free time. And I was thinking of Tevye. Now, this is not a perfect parallel because nothing with Fiddler on the Roof is. But does our religion mean something? And it's not just traditions for the sake of being tradition, because the Christian faith is more than just traditions. This is the way we've always done it. The Christian faith is a thinking faith. It's an intellectual faith. And Tevye was watching his religion get torn down. Hey, we've always done it like this, and now you want to change it like that. And he was feeling that, where's my faith going? And where you saw it going was from it being an Orthodox faith to being a more reformed sort of faith, which is what we've seen now in Judaism, different branches of Judaism. And that is exactly what I see happening inside of the evangelical community, and it's been going on for decades, but I'm just like up to here with it. These silly pastors, these hip, cool, groovy dudes that never preach anything that is helpful. Hold on a second. This might actually do your heart good. Received an email. Yep, got it right here. Hold on. Where's my spectacle?
Wait here.
Hold on, I got you. It was just very fine print. Dear Mr. Friel, it seems like there are lots of youth pastors around my age, 22, and even younger. Kind of concerning. Many of them are not very mature in their theology nor behavior. That they go parading around in their cool clothes, being silly men. They're children, and they're acting like children. Why is it a church would name a man-child a youth pastor, community pastor, outreach pastor? Has shepherding God's flock become a joke to these folks? And the answer is yes, I'm afraid it has. And the result is a pastor writes about Game of Thrones in a critical way, and he gets devoured for it. Why? It's not because Kevin DeYoung was snarky. It's because that is a sign of the evangelical church, which has far less to do with holiness than with happiness. And I've had enough. This is Wretched Radio.
Thanks for listening to the Wretched segment du jour. If you'd like more Wretched, you can listen to the most current stream for free at wretched.tv/listen, or you can become a club member and listen to our entire archive. Wretched, reaching the lost, equipping the saints, and strengthening the local church.